it's Clare here from the Little Design Corner, and welcome back to my channel where I share videos for designers, decorators and home renovators who are looking to create beautiful homes as well as businesses that they love to work in. And what I want to talk about today are experiences and moving your business beyond just being transactional with your customers and clients to actually creating a whole bunch of personal touch points along the way and experiences so that they can really get involved with your brand and your business in a much more personal way. And what I want to do is actually just share some of the examples of personal touch points and different kinds of things that I do in my own business in case that is of interest and sparks some ideas for your own business. Now on this channel, I share videos about productivity, about running a design or creative business, and also about SketchUp as well. So if any of those sorts of things sound of interest to you, then please do hit the subscribe button and also make sure you hit the notification bell as well so that you can be notified when my videos go live. So let's get into today's video where we're going to be talking about personal touch points and experiences that you can create inside your business. All right, so we live in an experience economy. So people are wanting more than just to do a transaction with your business anymore. They want to have connection with people and communities of people that they feel a connection with, so like-minded people. So you want to be thinking about moving beyond just doing a sales transaction with your clients and your customers to how can I actually create this into a really awesome journey, a really awesome experience for them, and think about all the different elements of that journey for your client or your customer along the way. Where are the different touch points that you could be adding something in that's something special or something a bit different or a surprise or something like that along the way of their journey of interacting with you and your business. Now this is going to help you in a couple of ways. First of all, it's just a lot more fun to do business like this. It makes people feel happy about your business. It makes you feel happy because you're doing something that's a bit fun. But secondly, it's going to build a lot more loyalty and trust with your clients as well. And this is going to really help you because they are going to then start to refer you to their friends and family. So people want to have an emotional connection with a business in order to make them talk about that business. I can assure you that people are not getting up in the morning and thinking, oh, I must tell my friends and family about XYZ business. That just doesn't happen. But if you can create some kind of emotional connection with your audience via doing some personal touch points, via doing some fun experiences, via doing some surprise and delight things along the way, you definitely are going to start to build up that emotional connection, and that's really going to help you to get them talking about your business and get them sharing your business. Your word of mouth referrals are going to be one of your biggest source of clients and customers. So you really want to be trying to help people to start talking about your business and sharing it with their family and friends. Now, I'm personally always trying to think of different ways that I can enhance the journey that the students in my online courses go through. And I also used to do this when I was working as a designer with my clients as well. Where along the journey can I do something that's fun, something that's unexpected, something that's just thoughtful, and what sort of things might they be? And so what I want to do is just share some of the things that I've used over the years with different sorts of business models that I've had with my design work, with my work with my students in my online courses. And I just want to also share about some of the thoughts that I have about how to treat people and how to enhance and exceed the customer journey that you have with your clients and customers. Now, the first tip that I can give you by far and above all the other tips is that you really want to be under promising and over delivering in the work that you do with clients. So an example of this from when I was working as a designer. So say if you thought that a project was going to take you 3 weeks to complete, what you want to do is you want to tell the client that it's going to take 4 weeks to complete, and then you want to deliver it in 2 weeks. So you've got a little bit of a buffer there in case something goes wrong, but you are going to exceed the client's expectations. They were expecting to receive it in 4 weeks. You've delivered it in 2 weeks, but you still do have that buffer just in case you need it to go over a little bit. This will make your client pleasantly surprised. They'll be really happy that you're organized and deliver their work fast. And these are just the sorts of things that you can start to think about as part of your own business. And you also want to think about the path and the journey that your clients and customers take with you. So you need to remember that you have done this process heaps and heaps of times. But for most clients or customers, this is probably going to be the only time that they do this sort of work with you. So especially if you are working as a designer, then think about the fact that, doing a big renovation on a house is probably something that you only do a handful of times in your life. And sometimes people only do this once. So yes, you've done this process a lot. So you need to think about what are the different steps in the journey for the client, and how can you communicate and over communicate the steps of that journey so that they know what to expect next. They know that things are on track. They know what to expect from you. They know what to expect from trades. And make sure you just over communicate, and also just put yourself in their shoes and think, how would this feel for me if I was standing in their shoes? What would I be confused about? What would I want to know some more things about? The more information you can give, you'll find that clients stay on board a lot better. You'll find that you run into less problems with clients. Communication is going to be a big friend of yours in delivering really good services and really good outcomes for your clients. So then another example is the business model that I have now, where I'm working with students online with my online courses. So I always like to think about them and their journey. So they've just bought a course from me, and now what? They want to know what to expect next. They want to know how to log in. They want to know how to find the course that they've paid for. The path might be really clear to you, but is it really clear to them as well? So make sure that it is very step by step, that you do really walk people through what their journey is going to be. It doesn't matter if you think you're stating the obvious. In most cases, people will just be happy to have more information than less information. So always keep that top of mind. So over communication is definitely one of the easiest ways to enhance the customer experience. I think many people do not communicate enough with their clients. They just sort of forget that people should know what they're doing, or they assume that people know what's going on. So the more you can be communicating, the better. And then another way that you can be enhancing the customer experience are with different personal touch points and surprise and delight type things. And I do have quite a few examples of this in my own business, and that's a couple of the things that I want to share with you next. So think about different things that you can add into your business that will enhance the way that they feel about your business, will be something that's just a bit fun perhaps to add in, something thoughtful to add in. And let's go over a few examples of what I use in my own business. Now, one of the main things that I do is when students sign up for my online courses, these are all online. So this is a completely self-paced online course for different aspects. And I've got 2 signature courses. So these are my larger courses. And for the 2 of those, I actually send out my clients a package each for each of the courses. So in my SketchUp course, we send out this package, which is just a fun game actually that we play in the course. And the fun game just really is instead of doing coursework. So instead of doing like boring action tasks at the end of each module, we play a fun game, and the fun game is contained in this package. Now, I'm not going to tell you what that is. If you've done my course, then you'll know what that is. If you haven't done my course, then you'll have to do it to find out what that fun game is, because it is a surprise. But this comes in the mail, and I have had these envelopes specially printed. You can see they've got these sort of fun dots on the front. They've got my logo on the front. But I figure how fun to have a package like this arrive in the mail. You're not expecting it. People do know these days because it's a little bit more known about the package, but it's something you normally get in bills in the mail. So you get a fun envelope with some fun coloured dots on it, and that arrives once you sign up for the SketchUp course. So that's my first example of surprise and delight. Now, in my Passion to Profit course, which is my business course, it's a slightly more expensive course. What we do is we package up a professionally printed workbook, and that's again got the fun dots on the front. These are stuck on with sticky dots, but inside there's also another fun element that comes with the printed workbook. They know the printed workbook's coming, but I've added something fun in there with the printed workbook that adds that little bit of surprise and delight when they open up their package. So have a think, are there any things that you could gamify about the product or the service that you are selling? So could you play fun games as part of that product or service? It might not be relevant to your business, but just start to think creatively about different things that you can do. Is there something that you can send out to people in the mail? Perhaps if you do have online product offerings, can you send them something that they wouldn't expect because they've signed up for something online? So just have a think outside the square about things that you can do to enhance what they've already purchased from you. All right, another example of things I do in my online course is I use a program called LOOM. So that's LOOM, and what that is a piece of software that's on my computer, and what it can do is actually record and screen record my screen in a short video clip that I can then just send a link to the student. And I use this all the time to do all sorts of things. So one of the main reasons I use Loom is if a student in my SketchUp course is having issues with something to do with their SketchUp model, what they'll do is generally send me their model, and then I will actually record myself with Loom, so do a screencast of myself talking and fixing up their model as I talk. And this really helps them to quickly and easily see what the problem was with their model, and it's a really helpful way to enhance the student support experience. And then another way that I use Loom is sometimes if people send me emails, like this happens in my Passion to Profit course more, which is my business course for designers and decorators and architects. And in that course, people sometimes send me email questions about things, and instead of like sitting for ages writing out a long response, what I like to do is sometimes just record a quick Loom for them and just talk about what I think the solution to the issue is. First of all, this is a much more personalised way of responding. Sometimes your messaging can get lost in an email, and you know, the tone of your voice can get lost in an email. So I like to do that by voice because I think that people like to hear my voice, and you know, they can hear exactly what I'm talking about, and also it's so much quicker than writing out a full email of a vast amount of text. So it's a much quicker way for me to manage student support, but it's also enhancing the experience that my students have, and they really like these Loom videos that I send out. A third way that I use Loom is if I find that there's a particular technique or something, especially within my SketchUp course, that people are struggling with, so a particular tool that they're struggling with in the software or something like that, what I'll do is quick tip videos in Loom. So again, recording myself, just having a recap of the particular technique, and then I post those up into our student Facebook group. So people really like those as well. It just means it's a more enhanced aspect of the course. It's a little bit more help and support that we give to students in the course. And so yeah, Loom is a really great tool for doing all sorts of things. If you were a designer or working in a creative thing, I could see Loom being really helpful for all sorts of other things as well. So you could perhaps like walk a client through your concept via a Loom. You could perhaps talk through some changes to a plan or things like that. You could do all sorts of things. So I could see Loom being really helpful for all sorts of different businesses. So have a look at Loom, see if that might be something that's useful for your business. All right, my third thing that I do for enhancing personal touch points, that sort of thing in my business, I have email sequences for students who are in my online courses. So basically these are automated sequences that come out and are dripped out over a period of time. So in my SketchUp course, for example, I think we have about a 6 or 7 week sequence, and what will happen is that within a few days, immediately when you sign up for the course, actually you start to get the emails. You'll get a welcome email. It will walk you through how to log onto the course. It will talk about how to find support. It will talk about the SketchUp software itself, all different things that I know people have questions about when they're first getting started, and that automatically just sends out as soon as someone signs up. Once they're on that email sequence, then automatically over the coming 7 weeks or so, they'll be sent out different emails along the way, and in those emails are just things that I know that as people go through, just from the experience of having run the course for some time now, people sometimes would come to me with questions, you know, a week in they'd have X, Y, and Z questions, and a lot of people would have those questions. So instead of me always having to be reactively answering those sorts of questions, what I've done now is put it all into an email sequence where I have proactively answered all of those questions for my students in my courses so that they know the answers to the questions before they even need to ask them. So this has been really helpful, not only to save me a lot of time, but it's also another way that students feel very well supported, and also just a personalised way of sort of keeping connection as they move through their online course. So that's my business model. But again, as a designer, like if you are working through a process with a client, then you might also have an email sequence where you walk people through what to expect. Once they've signed up with you, you might talk them through what the next steps are, and then a few weeks later you might have one that does different information about what they might need to do. They might need to go and choose their fixtures and fittings if you're not doing that for them. It just depends whatever your process is and the sorts of work that you do with clients. But have a think about what can you do to automate things. Do you get a lot of questions from your clients that are the same questions that you find yourself answering over and over. So these are the sorts of things that sometimes can be really helpful to pop into an email sequence, save you a lot of time, and it also really helps because your clients go, how did she know that I was thinking about that? That's really helpful, and they really find that sort of support and in communication that we've already spoken about really helpful. Now, another thing I used to do when I was working as a designer is what I would do if I was going to an initial design consultation is I'd actually just take a small gift generally. And in the early days when I had no money in my business, when I was first getting started many years ago, this small gift just simply was printing off my supplier list, which was something that I sold on my website. It was a very inexpensive little PDF of all the different suppliers that I use. So what I'd do is I'd just print this off, I'd put it in a nice plastic folder, I'd include my business card, and this would just be something that I could give to the clients when I first went to meet them. As my business did start to grow and I started to get clients that perhaps had higher budgets and sort of more expensive projects, I guess, I would often take other gifts as well. So sometimes if I was meeting them for the first time, I might take them a small candle or something like that. I would order these in bulk, so I would get a big trade discount from one of my suppliers, and I'd get 20 candles delivered at a time and get a big discount on that. And then I'd also order some gift bags in bulk, and then I would take those, pack them up, and then take them and then just have something to give to the client when I first met them. For large projects, at the end of the project, I'd usually give a housewarming gift to a client. So this would just be something that, I would have got to know the client quite well by then. So I'd really try and make that something that's personalised to them. This could be all matter of different things. You'd be able to get to know your client and give them something that's personal to them. But make sure that it isn't just something random once you've got to know a client. Really start to get to know them. If they have a particular sports team that they love and that you've got to know that they really are a great supporter of this sports team, then your gift might be something to do with that sports team. I don't know what it might be, but have a think about what you can do that's actually really personalised to them, to that family. I also, if people have babies or if they get married, then of course I always give a little gift for the new baby or a little a wedding gift or whatever it might be as well. Along the way in my business, I've also often given different random surprise and delights things to people in my audience and in my community. Not long ago, a student wrote to me and said that they had actually not been able to be working through the course as fast as they'd like because they'd had cancer and they'd just been through chemotherapy, and that they were stuck in bed at the moment, and that she'd actually just really been enjoying because she'd just been able to start getting back into it while she's been laying down in bed, and it's been something that's really lifted her spirits to be able to do the course and do something proactive while she's been feeling unwell. I felt awful for this person, so I put together a little gift package with one of the people that I use for sending out nice little parcels and packages, and I just sent a get well package out to this lady, not for any particular reason. She was just nobody that I particularly knew from my course. I don't know many of my students because most of them are online, but I just felt that this would be a kind thing. She'd made a connection with me about what she was going through, and so I sent her out something. So are there people in your community who you could just send out random surprise and delight type things? I'm sure many of them would really be grateful for this, and I'm sure it will help your business and your brand stick in their mind so that when they are feeling well again, they'll talk to their friends and family about not only the course that they've done or the work that they've done with you, but they'd also talk to their friends and family about, they did this lovely thing for me as well. So go above and beyond and really recognize people in your community. Now, speaking of recognizing people in the community, another thing that I do each week is my SketchUp Student of the Week. And what I do there is across all of my social media, I will pick out a student who's done some great work, who has posted some stuff up in our Facebook group of the project that they've either finished through the course or perhaps they're working through. And I'll feature them on my social media for that week. So they go up on my Instagram stories and across my Facebook. So they'll get a lot of exposure from this. And I'd like to tag them if they're happy for me to tag them. But actually, I'm just showing and showcasing the awesome work that some of my students are doing within the courses that they're working on. Now, this is not only really nice because it gives the people a really nice feeling who are acknowledged through the Student of the Week, but of course it's really good social proof for my business as well, because it shows that people are getting results out of my courses. And so it's a sort of double whammy at the same time. So I can show people in my community, yes, people get these awesome results out of doing my courses, but also I just really want to show you Cindy or Kelly or whoever's work it is that I want to acknowledge and celebrate because they've done such a great job in the course. So that's another thing to think about as well. As a designer, you can obviously share finished projects. You can do, different client features and all things like that as well. So if you do have a creative business, there are ways of adapting this sort of idea to your own business model as well. So that's just a few of the different ideas from my own business about things that I do to surprise and delight, personal touch points, how I enhance my student support, how I enhance my communication with my clients and with my students and customers. Now, the things that you do when you're starting out in business, you're not going to have a lot of money. You might not have money to send out big packages in the mail or do sorts of things like that. They don't have to be big. These don't need to be major things. They just have to be thoughtful, and they have to be something that your customer, your client is not expecting from you. So small things that you can do to help with this: respond to all the messages you get on social media, respond to all of your direct messages, respond quickly to all your emails. Don't be someone who responds 3 days later if someone sends in an inquiry. So these are like little things that you can do, but if you send an email to someone and then you get an almost immediate response, what are you going to think about that person and that brand? You're going to think, this is great, like this person's really on the ball, they're very organized. And you know, it starts to make you feel like this is someone that you want to do business with. So just think about how always it would feel to be in the other person's shoes, and try and make your experience with your clients, with your customers, with your prospective customers as awesome as it possibly can be, because this is how you're going to win a lot of more work, and it's also how people are going to start to talk about your business. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you today. But overall, I just want you to think more about how you can create a really awesome experience, a really awesome customer journey for the people that you work with. So the more you're able to do this, the more they're going to talk about you, the more they're going to talk about your business, the more they're going to have an emotional connection with you. So think, what can I do that's fun? What can I do that enhances the experience? How can I be over communicating? How can I let them know the next steps of their journey? How can I enhance the next steps of their journey? These are all the things that you want to be thinking about as you move through the process. Now, a practical thing that you can do to sort of help you with this, if you have a sort of journey that I guess looks very similar as someone signs up to work with you. So if you work with a client and then they go through A, B, C, D, E, F, G steps generally, what I would encourage you to do is actually just to spend some time writing out all the different steps that a client or a customer goes through with you. And then what I would do is just start to make a few notes. What could I do to enhance this step? Could I send them an email at this step? Is this a step where I might give them a small gift or something along the way? What else could I be doing to make this more fun for them? So just write down the different steps, write down the major steps that people go through, and then think, what can I do to create a personal connection, to make it fun for them, and to make them start to talk about my business and brand to other people. Okay, that is it for today's video. I hope you found some of those ideas helpful. If you have, please do give the video a thumbs up. I'm just starting this channel out, and it would really help me to get found by other people on YouTube and hopefully just be able to help more people. That's what I'm trying to do with all of this content that I'm putting out. And if you have enjoyed the video, please do consider subscribing to the channel. I try and put videos out every Thursday. Also hit the notifications bell, and then you'll be notified when my next video comes out. In the meantime, I do hope you have a really awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye for now.